Welcome back, my dear students. Once again, I am ready with a new chapter from your Hornbill book, chapter number 4, Landscape of the Soul by Nathalie Troveroy. I hope you have enjoyed in vacation, and now it is time to once again start hard work. First of all, about the author. Nathalie Troveroy is a wife of Belgium Ambassador of India. She holds a degree in Chinese art and architecture from the University of Belgium. She has her love in organic paintings and she admired natural paintings drawn by the artist in India. She has traveled to many countries and exposed to many art forms. She wanted to do art of Old Delhi when she got inspired by the Indian artist from the North and South India. She loves history and architecture. She tries to combine both in her form of art. She knows different languages and she is the best translator who has translated Dutch to different European languages. Let us begin with the introduction. This chapter is all about how different the Chinese art form is from the European art form. The writer uses two stories to make a contrast. European art is about reproducing an actual view, whereas Chinese art is about not creating a real landscape. European art is an artist's way to let viewers show exactly what he wants them to see in the landscape, and Chinese art is the artist's spiritual and inner voice where you can travel from any point and it lets the viewer create a path for their imagination. Synopsis. This story is a beautiful illustration of art by the author. In this chapter, you will see different art forms being compared and the interpretation of these paintings from the artist's perspective. The author tries to show a comparison of the different art forms based on regions. This chapter deals with stories and myths circulating famous paintings in ancient times. The focus is laid on how realistic the paintings were and how beautifully created. And now it is time to tell you the story in short. I mean to say, summary time. So, the summary of the chapter is like this. The chapter consists of two parts. The first part has been taken from Landscape of the Soul, Ethics and Spirituality in Chinese Painting. And the second part is from Getting Inside Outsider Art, an article written by Brinda Suri in Hindustan Times. The first part deals with the art of painting. There is mention of two stories in it. The first story is about Wu Daozi, a famous Chinese painter who lived in the 8th century. He was a master painter and had been commissioned by the Tang Emperor Zhuangzong to decorate a palace wall. He made a beautiful painting with high mountains, forest, waterfalls, clouds floating in clear, big blue sky, men walking and working on hilly paths, birds in flight, and a cave situated at the foot of the mountain where dwelt a spirit. As the painter was showing the painting to the emperor, he clapped hands. The entrance to the cave opened, the painter got in, the painting vanished, and Wu Daozi never came out. The disappearance of the painting from the wall signifies the knowledge of the spiritual inner world. Only the masters know the way within and go beyond any material appearance. In another famous story, a famous Chinese painter refused to draw the eye of a dragon he had painted for the fears it would fly out of the painting. The third story in the first part is about Antwerp, a master blacksmith called Quentin Metzies fell in love with a painter's daughter. The father would not accept a son in law in such a profession. However, Antwerp had to accept Quentin Metzies as his son in law because he painted a fly on his panel with such delicate realism that it looked real one. The author also talks about Chinese philosophy Shan Shui, which means mountain water. The mountain represents yang, the male principle, and water signifies yin, the female principle. In the second part, the author writes about the concept of art brut, which means the art of those who have no right to be artists as they have received no formal training, yet show talent and artistic insight. They are artists who think out of the box. Their works are totally different from those of their predecessors. In simple terminology, this art can be called unorthodox art. In this section, the author takes example of Nek Chand, his creations of rock garden at Chandigarh, which is a expression of art brut. So now let us begin explanation part. So first paragraph you have to read yourself, and the explanation is like this. A painter named Wu Daozi, who lived in the 8th century, was assigned to decorate a palace wall by the Tang Emperor Zhuangzong. It was his last painting. The painter hid his work behind the screen so the only emperor would see it. The emperor, upon looking at the painting, admired many things into that painting, like discovering forests, high mountains, waterfalls, floating clouds, men on hilly path, and birds in flight. The painter then made him look at a cave in the painting, which was at the foot of the mountain, and compared it with a living spirit. As the painter clapped his hands, the entrance of the cave opened, and he let the emperor know how beautiful the inside of the cave was, and he asked him to show all this to him. The painter entered the cave, and the entrance closed behind him. The emperor could not enter the cave. As the emperor was greatly surprised, the painting vanished from the wall. After that, the painter was never seen again. So now it is time to say thank you. Thank you for watching. And in our next video, I will continue the same chapter, the remaining paragraphs. Thank you once again.